I mean, when it comes to Blade Runner, when it comes to this, I'm the luckiest guy in the fracking world.
And he felt like that every day at work. Really, so he's not just saying this now in retrospect. He was grateful and joyful and set the tone for the entire production, right, Kandyse?
Absolutely. You told us the very first cast read-through that we all had together. I remember you standing up and saying, listen, this is the best piece of work I've done in a really long time. This will be the best piece of work I've ever done. And this is going to be a long road, so keep your energy up and stay strong, because we're in this for the long haul. And we're all like, sweet.
And then we got Lindsay, and we all went through, Lucy and me, and we all went through the road. I tell you right now, this woman, when she came on the set, completely changed the course we were going through. Lucy had a reputation, and she was strong. But
I walked into so much expectation and not all of it good. And I was like, okay, bring it.
She knocked it out of the park and made everybody to go, oh my God. I got to tell you, the very first day that I saw you work was monumental, because it was right off the bat she was kicking ass. And at the moment she walked on, and I said, boy, oh boy. Now, we had been working for a few episodes. So, you know, when Lucy came on and started to do this, she was like catching up. Kate Vernon had the same experience. She came in on episode 9. You came in on episode what?
I don't know. I thought I was like in season late.
Yeah.
But I was just coming in for a few eps. And
yeah, right.
Yeah.
A few episodes.
Anyway, it was an amazing experience.
I just remember you having so much fun. I remember doing a scene with you in the hallway, and I was like, wow, she's feeling, hold on.
Goof off as much as possible. Can you believe that people pay you to do this? You know, hang out, and they feed you even. Not many jobs actually feed you. They give you really well to lunch. Are you kidding me? Incredible.
We had great food.
Yes.
Mr. Olmos, you were fantastic in the Portlandia episode that was based on Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, Portlandia was great. And Lucy, you seem to get more beautiful every year. Sometimes I really think you are a Cylon.
He's got a mummy complex.
I hope we get to see more on Parks and Rec this season too. Parks and Rec.
Oh, thank you, Dad.
My question though is about the trick ending of Battlestar. When did you learn in the process about the trick ending, and what are your thoughts about it?
Darling, ask that again, and who are you talking to?
I'm talking to everyone. The trick ending, when did you learn about the trick ending? How far in the process?
The trick ending.
Of the series, you know. As
we were sitting on the beach, they're going, okay, Lucy, sit down, you're not going anywhere. Were they quite secretive about it?
Oh yeah, season 4, everything was really tight-lipped. Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
Yeah, we didn't know anything until, you know, we got the script. So, if you're saying, did we know about it, or we didn't? No, not until we read it. The way you guys got the show, in other words, you sat down and said, okay, let's see what they did. Boom, and you saw the whole story unravel itself. Well, that's how we got it. Only we sat down and read it.
Yeah.
And so we would sit there and go, okay, you ready? Here we go. And they would pass out the scripts when we got there. So we'd sit there and go, okay, see you again today.
That's right. I remember now.
Every day. And we would look at each other because they would tell us that we were going to die only a few days, if anything, before you were going to read it in the script. So, I mean, how long did you have before you found out?
Well, accidentally, 4 or 5 days.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So
Ron called me a week later.
So they didn't tell you, in other words.
They didn't tell me, no.
Oh, God.
Gerald Hair and Makeup told me.
That's the first person that we see in the morning. We go into the hair makeup trailer and you go, oh gosh, it's so sad that you.
He did. He was like, oh, hon, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's like what? Oh.
How did he know? Why did they know?
Because he handed me the production draft and he was like, you should read this.
I walked in, she was in heaving sobs.
And I did the same thing you did. I was reading the beginning of the script and I was like, no, this is good. This is great. Maybe he was telling me that I was going to be a Cylon or I got a better part or something cool was that. Yeah, this is awesome. She goes on a date. I get to wear a dress. I love this. Oh. Flash wound? No.
It was intense. So the ending, the very, very ending of the show, we had that. We talked about this yesterday a little bit, but the ending of the show, we knew nothing about how it was going to end. Not a clue under the sun did we know how they were going to wrap this whole thing together. And Ron had kept it really close to his vest. You know, we had no idea that we landed here 200,000 years ago. You know, it was us that created you. And if you don't believe me, at the end of Battlestar Galactica, put in Blade Runner. Whack! Because the final scene of Battlestar is Six and Baltar walking downtown, Times Square, saying Baltar saying this has happened before, it was going to happen again. And then, Six says that. And then Baltar says, I don't know, I think this time humanity has learned. And then it goes to black. And if you put in Blade Runner, it's 2019. That's in 2008 when they said that. Then you put in the Blade Runner, it's 2019. And lo and behold, they're the replicants. And we're off. It's worse than before. The key to the genetic structure of the 200,000 years before is in Gaff, my character. My character is Adama, comes here 200,000 years ago, and then breeds with all these different indigenous humans. And finally, 200,000 years later, out comes Gaff. Got them that time. If you want a question, just stand up and go over to the microphone. Everybody has questions, please rush over there. Go ahead.
Don't rush. The questions take a long time to answer. Yellow's been there half an hour already.
My question's for Lucy. You played some really strong, very clever, mentally, I'm sorry, I'm starstruck. Mentally and physically really strong women characters. Like characters I grew up to being like, I want to be that. I was wondering which one was your favorite, maybe the most challenging to work on, and where you see strong women roles going in media today.
Oh, that's like picking between your children. They were my favorites for different reasons. Deanna, because it was cerebrally very challenging to try to keep up with everything going on and to keep her so contained. Xena was the most fun. And Lucretia was the most emotionally demanding. I'm sorry, did I answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, women's roles in the future. Well, I hope there's going to be a lot of them, especially for older women. It is changing, actually. There's a lot more older women. I hope you find this comforting for the far future. I do, actually, yeah. You see a lot of older actresses with very strong, engaging, sexy, demanding roles. And the way that they always wrote Xena, that I don't know about on Battlestar. Well, yes, Battlestar as well. If you look at Katie Sackhoff's role in particular, you write for a woman hero as you write for a man,
Right.
and that's the mistake that some writers might make in trying to make a strong woman. You just write it like a man. Sadly, that's the X factor. I don't know what the future brings, but I think sci-fi is, the future's here, isn't it? So all the sci-fi themes are pressing issues today, whether it's about computers as prosthesis, whether it's the privacy and cyber spying, cyber attack, climate change, Soylent Green. The future is here. So,
I think there are a lot more female writers as well, and it's a greater understanding of, exactly as Lucy said, that strength in a woman, it does not equate to being like a man, but there's more feminine strength being written, strength in terms of understanding relationships, strength in terms of knowing when to be compassionate, understanding whole systems instead of being very forwarding. Sorry guys, you had it for 5,000 years, you know. You had it for 5,000 years, we're gonna take over.
It will take the female to write for the female, though.
Yeah.
And there's no two ways around it. The writers, the producers, the directors have to become stronger in the respects of the art form, and they already are, and that's what's changing everything. They will, women will write incredible stories, and they're coming stronger and stronger every day. That's what's going to change it. It's just that, people are going to enjoy those stories, so it's going to change, just like people of ethnicity, people of color will be putting forth in front of the camera, leading the show. And,
finally.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Okay, we have a special request from one of the staffers on one of the tracks, and I'm going to turn it over to April.
I'm a big fan of everybody. This one is addressed to Miss Lawless. In 1998, I had a massive heart attack and died. I was brought back. The doctor said I shouldn't have survived, that I was a fighter. I said, no, I'm a warrior. Xena Warrior Princess helped save my life. Your acting, the strong role, helped save my life, and I wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a short little note here, if somebody can give it to you, that tells a little bit more, but from the bottom of my broken, stinted heart, thank you for everything you do and all the strength that you've given me.
Wow, I think you took strength, lady.
Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing this morning? So my question is for the entire group. If there was a scene that you could have performed as one of your peers, what scene would it have been, or would it, and why, or thank you.
I'll answer that first. The XO when he makes love with 6. When Hogan saw that script, I think he cried. I can tell you, he was the happiest camper in Vancouver. I'm not kidding you, man. That guy was nirvana. Show changed for him. He hated being a Cylon. He really did. I've never seen anybody. The chief went through a little bit of a change, but not much. Just drank a little less. But, but I will say that the XO could not grasp it, went into his trailer and went nuts. I mean, he really hated the whole conceptual understanding that he was a Cylon. He just, and he played it that way. You saw it in his character. He fought it. And he was angry and, constantly, I'm not a Cylon. And it was really pathetic until he made love. He was a real Cylon. So yeah, that's who I'd like to play.
Hilarious.
This might sound a bit controversial, I think, but the first thing that came to mind was Baltar. Baltar seemed to have a lot of fun. And not just with sex. Didn't he have a harem?
Yes.
Yeah. He could keep us all satisfied. He just went like a train. I don't know. I'd always want to be. If being in the cockpit was real, that's where I'd want to be. You want to be Starbuck. Right?
Yes.
Well, I couldn't say Starbuck, come on. That's right.
Question.
Hi, thank you all for being here. I just discovered the show a few weeks ago and I flew through it. It was incredible. Thank you so much. One of the things that I really appreciate about it is that these characters are facing a very real external threat to their survival, both humans and Cylons alike. And because of that fact, it makes it that much harder for them to deal with their own personal demons. So what I was wondering was, for each of you, did you find any personal conflicts for your character particularly rewarding as an actor?
Personal conflict, sorry, in real life or?
No, personal conflicts for your character. Any of their relationships or their history?
I've often talked about mine because I came on the set and there would have been some rumor that I was getting crazy money and blah, blah, blah. I don't know, you guys weren't part of this. But I had heard about it and I certainly wasn't getting crazy money. Or I wasn't a threat. I knew I was just coming in for a few episodes. I wasn't replacing anybody or anything. And I sort of found it kind of amusing and decided to razz them a little bit. And I'm a terrible razzer. So, and then eventually I decided it's not a good idea to razz nervous people because then they just really hate you. And you kind of deserve it. But we got through it, and in fact, Aaron Douglas became a good friend.
He does that though. He sort of starts out grumpy and then
He starts out so grumpy.
He
Called me tough girl. I was like, I wasn't trying to be tough. But anyway, we went out to concerts and all sorts of things, so it was all cool after a while, yeah.
I think personally, the first time that Duala got to sort of speak her mind, me as the actor, I was coming onto the show, I was there for my audition was 10 lines to camera. I wasn't speaking to anybody, and it was all red leader coming alongside Karam 9432. So I didn't even know what I was saying. You know what I mean? I put on a shirt with I was like, yeah, this looks like the military. I did my audition, I was out in 10 minutes, and then I got in my car and drove to LA to go get a real job. And I did the mini-series, and I didn't know if I was going to be there much longer, but sort of each script came along, and Duvala got to do a little bit more, and you saw a little bit more of her. But the first time that I actually got to speak my mind, and I did it by confronting Adama and calling him on the fact that he had said he was going to do something, and he better fraction do it. Me as an actor, as a young actor, going, oh, they see that they think that I'm capable of this, that I can do more than I thought I could do. And I grew a little, and I had those moments continually throughout the series because I didn't know what was going to happen. But every time they would give me another little nugget, a little challenge, a little something that I had to rise to, it was incredibly rewarding. Scary, but incredibly rewarding both personally and professionally.
That's right. You really saw Joella grow, and as you say, you too, I guess.
It was extraordinary how this evolved, and this is a little bit off of what you were asking, but I have to comment that Duella, Gata, and Tama, Hilo, were three characters that arose because of the craftsmanship and the artistry of the actor. They weren't at all, I mean, Hilo was supposed to stay on the planet now by himself, and that was it. The final shot was him, warding off as Boomer took off and left with Baltar. And, he gave up his seat for Baltar. And then he's standing down there. And that heroic shot of him standing there at the very end of the episode became a signature. And all of a sudden they go, look, we got to go back and see what that guy's doing. And that's how that storyline became unwoven and became part of this whole thing that happened between the two of them. It was amazing how they did that. With Duella, it became unbelievable, the trajectory that her character took. Because you got to remember, she started off, like she says, nothing more than a person who was capable of handling those lines. Gata and her had the lines that everybody would say, what do they do? What do they say? I don't know, but they're going to say it again.
Anybody in the Navy would understand what we were saying.
Kind of, yeah. And then, but they created such an extraordinary presence. And I commented on it the very first time I saw them both work. I said, my God, these kids are so good. They're making that come alive. And it's nothing. I mean, they're like, it's giving us information to give us a feeling that where we're at is for real. Okay, it's not like they're giving us any plot line, it's not giving us any story, there's no conflict in it, there's just, numbers.
Radiological alarm.
I love it.
That sounds convincing.
She's so good.
Radiological alarm. Poor man he is.
So I will say that I take my hat off totally to these actors that not only jumped out of the screen at us, but moved themselves and moved our story to a much higher level. It would be impossible to have done it without Gata, Duella, and Hilo.
Next question.
What he was just saying kind of resonated with me, because what I wanted to get up here and ask and say was that for me personally, what made this show so good was it had a great plot, but it was the relationships between the characters and the way they were portrayed on the screen that just made this transcendent for me. And so my question is, when you guys had a little bit of freedom to make your choices in how you portrayed your characters, were there any choices that you thought were a little controversial but came off really well, or any choices that you made that you kind of wish you could do differently?
Well, my not being with Billy, well, that didn't work out well for a lot of people. I was so ready to have that relationship with the Billy character. I was so excited about the possibility of us being this young love and struggling through our outside circumstances and then within our relationship, and then it all just went so sideways. And I struggled a bit with the relationship with Lee at first, because I was like, as girls do, he likes me? I didn't even know he knew I existed. I'm like, I'm his dad's Communications officer. But I remember the moment, actually, and it's funny because they saw it. I know now that the writers saw it. Mark Verheiden was on set that day, and I had an interaction with Apollo in the hallway, and I don't know what it was that day. I was feeling frisky, but we said something, and then he walked away, and I remember I played with my hair, and I looked back, and I looked at his butt. And I didn't think anybody noticed it, but the camera knows everything. But I don't know, preparation for relationships? No, you prepare yourself. You know who you are. And then, as Eddie always elegantly says, you just be in the moment with another person. And we were very lucky that each of us was so in love with who we were there to play and was cast so well that there was a lot of freedom to just be with one another as the people that we were pretending to be.
You know what? You just made me think. They probably set me up.
Oh, then definitely set
When
you
I
up.
came into that set and there was so much kind of mistrust, that's totally the plot, right? Yeah. It's so these, Eddie.
Oh, they definitely set you up.
They set me up because I come into this world of mistrust. It's like, Jesus, I didn't think I'd been that bad a girl. When did I get this reputation? And I just went, well, screw you. And nurtured it. And that was the character and the situation. Do you put that past them?
No, I don't put it. That's exactly what they did.
Oh my God, I don't been played.
The mind of Ron Moore is a vast and complex
Son of a...
place.
Yeah.
Next question, thank you.
I have a much lighter question for you, and that is, for each of you, what's your favorite and least favorite sets to work with during the show?
Space.
Oh, the actual physical sets? Yeah.
Space sucks, man. Don't go. I've been on that set. It's so dark. There's nothing comfortable to sit on except in your bedroom, and you didn't get in there much. It is. There's nothing green. There's nothing organic. It sucks.
Very little plant life. No, the sets, go ahead.
Well, I mean, for a long time, I had one set. I was really excited when I got to get up and walk in the hallway. I was like, ooh, and then I was like, oh man, now I'm gonna wear my pants. A lot of my buttons worked though. Like there were tech guys up on the screen, so like the screens would change, like you would hit buttons and different things would happen. So that was fun for a while.
We had there was about 5 or 6 guys that were upstairs in a room that I photographed during one of the scenes when I directed it, that were doing everything that happened was for real on that ship. I mean, there would have been no difference had we been out in space doing exactly what we're doing because all the electronic worked, everything. When they were chasing us, we were being chased. You could see it. Oh my God, they're getting closer. Oh, they shot at us. Boom!
It made it easy because it wasn't like the scripty going, bang! Closer. No, we just watched it.
It was amazing, and the technology that was on the set was amazing. So I would have to say that